Now, when a huge whale was stranded on the coast of Cornwall in 2020, many local people were devastated. But scientists from the University of Exeter were determined that its death shouldn't be in vain. Now, 5 years on, the skull, which is the length of a minibus and the weight of a rhino, has been excavated. So that lessons can be learnt. Well, for more on this, let's speak to Robbie McDonald, Chief Scientist at the Office for Environmental Protection. Just talk us through what the plan is here.
Well, good morning, Lucy. This story goes back to February 2020 when I was a professor at the University of Exeter. And rather tragic circumstances, actually. This magnificent creature, the fin whale, a young female, and it was in very poor nutritional condition. It had been not feeding for days, if not weeks, and it stranded whilst it was still alive on the beach in the Lizard in Cornwall, and it very sadly died on the beach. And I was part of a team. I helped out the work of a team called the Cetacean Strandings Investigation Programme, the CSI of the Sea, as run by the Institute of Zoology and Cornwall Wildlife Trust, and they conducted a post-mortem examination on the beach. But then the question became what to do about it. And we were left with this enormous whale on the beach. One solution was to tow it back out to sea and sink it, and it would have been part of the marine ecosystem then. But actually, it could have been a danger to shipping, and so it was brought on land, and the idea was to take it away and have it rendered and disposed of. And I just felt that would be such a waste of this magnificent animal. So a lot of logistical challenges, but we arranged for it to be transported to the research field at the university down in Cornwall, and we buried it there about 5 years ago.
So what are you going to do with it now?
Well, we dug it back up again about a few months ago, and it's been bleaching and washing in the Cornish rain and sun. And so it should eventually be suitable for putting on display on the university campus. And we'll use it, of course, for teaching and research purposes for the students. But more than that, actually, I was very keen that it became something of a memorial, because these are such magnificent creatures. I didn't just want it to go to waste. And they're a big reminder of how much there is to do to conserve our seas. We've got these major international commitments, a global commitment to conserve about 30% of land and sea by 2030. And there's a long, long way to go. And even in UK waters, there is much that needs to be done for marine protected areas. And so my hope was that this whale, by putting it on display, not just to our students, but to others who rarely get to see animals like this, that it helps them understand about marine life and some of the magnificent creatures that are at threat.
What about the sort of frequency of strandings in that area? Is that something particularly to be concerned about?
Well, Cornwall gets more than its fair share of strandings, but that's also because Cornwall has a very long coastline and it's exposed to much of the Atlantic seaboard. But most of those strandings are porpoises and dolphins, the smaller animals. But fin whales are an increasingly frequent sighting around our shores. There was a very large adult fin whale seen in September, and sadly a fin whale calf died on the beach yesterday in Cornwall. So these are becoming more frequently seen, at least partly because of the recovery of fin whale populations after the moratorium on whaling. And we have to remember that whaling was only stopped in the North Atlantic for fin whales in the late 80s. So it's really not very long ago, but the population's taken a long time to make a slow recovery. And we're starting to see more of these animals in our waters.
OK, well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. That's very helpful. Robbie McDonald, Chief Scientist at the Office for Environmental Protection. Thank you.